Welcome back to the More Smarter Show. This is episode 48 of the #1 business mindset and strategy podcast with your hosts, Jake and Dylan. Jake, what do we have on the agenda today?
Last minute change. We have Alex Preziosi. So she's a friend of mine and, she's local to us in New Jersey. And Alex is amazing because I called her 20 minutes ago because we had a cancellation from another guest. And Alex was on my list to invite to be a future guest. And Alex, I don't know what that says about you and your schedule, but thank you so much for being so flexible and being here.
You're welcome. It means I don't have anything going on.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Yeah, but
but Jake, before we get into it, I want you to
yeah,
go. I think the perfect example is that metaphor you said by Brandon Turner, where it's like you go from cutting your grass to not
yes.
cutting your grass.
Mm,
So it's like
No,
you
no, no,
go
no.
from,
Wait,
all
say it
right,
right. Say
y-
it right. So there's three levels of wealth. This is what Brandon Turner tweeted once. It's cutting your own grass. No, I'm sorry. It's not cutting your own grass and then cutting your grass and then not cutting your own grass. And if you really sit and think about that, that is deep and has amazing meaning. So go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah. So what that means though is you think you can outsource. You think you can spend the money and do all that because you're too busy, probably running around doing whatever else to make money. And then you are making money without really having to run around. So
right.
you have the time to cut your own grass. So that's probably where you're at right
Yeah.
now. Is
I like
you're no
that.
you don't you don't
Sure.
have to run around.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely truth to it. So I appreciate putting me in that metaphor.
Yeah.
And Alex was a guest that I was, again, going to be reaching out to for a future episode, 100%. So Alex and I met because I think I DM'd you
hmm
after listening to you on the Bigger Pockets Money podcast,
hmm
right? That
Yep.
was a couple years ago, and your episode resonated with me. One, it was just like a great episode for, I listened to that show because I'm obviously interested in that category, and I think a lot of our listeners here probably are as well. And it resonated with me because you're local, and there were so many commonalities with our stories, right?
Yeah. For sure.
So where are you today? What do you do, and why are you here?
Sure. So first of all, thank you guys for having me last minute, or you're welcome, whichever one you want to use. And yeah, so Jake and I met. We did have a lot of commonalities. We both worked the 9 to 5, had the real estate as our side hustle for a while, got into a house hack. Like we basically are living a clone life, more or
Yeah.
less. And yeah, where I'm at now, I'm full time in real estate, doing real estate sales in North Jersey. And I am in a position I was sharing with you guys earlier where, I wanted to take a little bit of time for family things. Earlier this year, I had like a couple of family matters to attend to. And it was kind of like, a lot of what I talked about on the podcast, a lot of what we've talked about, Jake, where it's kind of just became this position where I was able to take time off. And because financially, just working those years and cutting down on living expenses specifically has really just been a lot of weight off where you don't have to do the hustle every single day. I still find myself hustling most days, mostly for
Yep.
the fun of it, the grind, like that, right?
Yeah.
And I really love my work and I love to work, but it does feel good to know that, okay, I don't have to if I don't really need to or want to right now. So I guess that's kind of just the long and short of where I'm at right now, at least. I can't say that's going to be forever either,
Yep.
but just having the setup, is step one, or maybe it's step more than one, but.
Yeah. No, I think that's more than step one for sure. I think and what's funny is the house hacking mindset that I think we had, like it was like episode 3 of the More
Mm,
Smarter Show is labeled like the house hacking mindset.
mm,
And it doesn't only push you in a position to want to work, it pushes you in the position to have the choice to want to work.
for sure,
And
for sure.
that's where you're at right now, and it's awesome to see. So to go very quickly into your story a little bit, you were working, like a W-2 job, and then you were doing the real estate thing, buying multifamilies, house hacking.
Mhm.
That's kind of the progression.
Yeah, so I started in a traditional corporate job for 5, 6 years. then I kind of paired my interest in real estate and construction with a W-2. So I ended up working for a builder who was also my broker. So I was able to work with his brokerage and help him full time still, technically, as a W-2 employee on the construction company. So that was kind of like, I was mixing, it was like a hybrid kind of things. And I did that for 3 or 4 years, possibly. And but that was also a good opportunity too, which I think is a lot of what, say, even real estate as a side hustle being a commission model. I think that was another component of that job where there were a lot of other like bonus structures based on like projects and things like that. So just that being a more creative W-2 than your traditional W-2 and still working in something that I was interested in. So that was like from corporate to step 2 hybrid, and then now I'm out of the hybrid model into just self-employment or
Which again
unemployment,
is
like how
me
I like
too.
to call it. Yeah.
I was like doing a little property management for a company. It
Mm,
was sort of
right,
a hybrid
right.
situation before getting out of that in full time. So it's very
Totally.
similar.
Yeah.
So Dylan mentioned house hacking mindset, which I love, and I know that all three of us have this. It's not just that we are house hackers, meaning we rent space in our homes to offset our mortgage, but it's also the mindset. And we all carry this into our business. Alex, I know you do as well, where
Mhm.
you just said that before you said that you are working mostly because you want to, and you're able to take your time off and be flexible with your schedule. Talk about the house hacking mindset and how that resonates with your life.
Oh my god. I mean, the house hacking mindset, of course, just financially feeling like you're just there's not as much of a hook. Like, they say that your housing expenses, I shouldn't even say they say, your housing expenses are the most expensive thing on your budget sheet if you have a budget sheet. And if you could minimize that half, 30%, whatever it
It
is,
doesn't have to be 100%.
it
Thank
Yeah.
you.
doesn't.
People who are
No.
trying to buy house hacks are always like, "Well, it doesn't cash flow when I move out." Like just take step 1.
I'm sure you guys have this conversation with clients all the time because it really depends on your intention for this house hack. I mean,
Mhm.
and maybe you guys could relate. I would love to cash flow on my house when I move out of it. Probably will, but still, like, it's not the intention. The mindset is, okay, well, I could allocate the money that I'm using in business wise too. Like, I know that I could allocate the money that I could have been spending on my housing to my business. And that already is so much weight off your shoulder because now you don't have to choose between, do I invest in my business? Do I sacrifice my housing lifestyle? Whatever. You kind of have the best of both worlds. And I know we were talking a little bit about it before we started recording, how you just like get obsessed with finding these hacks in so many different ways,
Yeah.
It's like it
Yeah.
even shows up a little bit, maybe it's unrelated, but like I just booked a flight to California and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm obviously gonna like use my points for this." And and it's like you're just trying to find things to offset like every expense that you have wherever it is. But I guess that's a lot of it, just
Yeah.
really finding the opportunity to be able to cut down on your living expenses. And I don't know if you guys feel this way, maybe you do, but I was just saying to my husband before too, is I also really love the fact that like I could provide a really nice place to live for somebody else, Like that's
Yep.
meaningful to me. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely a fulfillment in that too.
Totally. Yeah. That's where for me, I just bought a multifamily like 2 months ago,
Congrats.
and it thank you. And it was fully occupied. And I've been now, renovating the whole entire thing, and leases expired at perfect timings, and I was
Mm,
able to renovate sooner. But the house that people were living in at one point, it's just like the landlord did not care that there was
yeah.
water in the house, there's mold everywhere. It's just like,
Wow.
geez, like what is this? So now making it nice and then really being able to vouch for the property
But
and
yeah.
saying, hey, like, this is great. I'm also gonna be a great landlord,
Yep.
and now you better be a freaking great tenant because that's how this has to work. But
Totally.
yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, there's the reward of that too.
Mhm.
So I
Oh,
think,
absolutely.
yeah, and I think with you can translate this, like, there's so many ways to, like, dive deeper into this, but translating this into your business as primarily as a realtor, you are able now to just completely level up your real estate knowledge
Mhm.
and your expertise.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
how have you kinda used that to leverage your real estate business? Like, use your house hacking experience?
Oh, I think, yeah, just with the experience of course, purchasing a house, which isn't there I think there's a stat of out there, some crazy stat, like 70% of real estate agents don't own a house, you know? I don't know, something like that. So even just the fact that you did that, right? And then a lot of people, even from the Bigger Pockets podcast, I've gotten a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but a good amount of leads from people who are also looking to house hack. So now it's just the example of I did this, you could do that too. So I think just sharing that my own personal experience with clients has definitely helped in owning a property like this. I think I'm sure you guys can relate renovation costs and the reality of renovating, the reality of a turnover, the reality of vacancies. Like, and also when someone is looking at whether it's a house hack property or an investment property, being able to actually dissect the numbers with them as opposed to someone who would just say, oh, you have to look at the rental income minus the mortgage payments and the taxes and insurance, and you're good. Oh, look at this. It's going to cash flow $300 a month. Like, yeah, right. You're going to be on the hook for like $800 negative,
Yeah.
probably, if you
So
didn't look at the other things, you know?
I have this idea I want to run by you guys while we're recording. So I haven't made action on this because I'm still like it's a toss up whether it's a good enough idea, and I don't want to do something half ass. I want to like do it or not do it for a
Okay.
long period of time. It would be, you know how it's really popular to do reviews of like pizza or food
Hmm.
on Instagram and stuff. It would be a house hacking review, like out of 10, like 8.1 out of 10. And whether
Mm.
that's me on a green screen, like going through an MLS sheet, or me going into a house and doing like a video showing to myself, I haven't figured that out yet. What do you guys think?
It's
It
like
would be
opportunities.
specifically, yeah. I know what happened to you. Have
What happened to that?
opportunities
So I
still?
had opportunities, which is my opportunities and properties. I
Yeah,
had
I
that
love
email
that.
blast. Thank you. What became really difficult was finding more. That's
Yeah.
why I don't want to half-ass it like I did opportunities because I can't find opportunities anymore. Unless you're looking to house hack, and that's what got me here. Me and Claude
Got
thought of
you.
this.
Okay. I like that. I think you could even just generally have it be like an investment
Mhm.
analysis, like whether it is for a house hack or whether it's for cash flow. And then maybe that could be like a secondary conversation. Like, would you buy this for a house hack?
Yeah,
Would you buy this for cash flow? Because I think that those two things,
are different.
it could make sense for one and not the other one, you know?
And that's it. Like when I talk to young people, house hacking is 100% what they should do. I don't care. Like I expect if you're in your 20s and single and you're not making a ton of income, which is all the things I was when I was in my 20s. House hacking changed my life.
Mm.
But if you're talking to someone who's in a different stage of life, that's not like it's not necessarily realistic for them to actually house hack, right? Is
Right,
someone with two
right.
kids going to be renting out space in their like I have a single family. I can only do that because I don't have kids, you know? So it's
Sure.
just a little less of a pool of candidates of homes for those people which of course is just to be mindful of.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
But I wanted to talk about your new Instagram, which is going to be huge, and it's going to be a huge brand on its own. It's Jersey Girl Finance. Tell us why you
Me.
did that.
That's me. Yeah, so I've been sitting on this idea for a really long time. And I don't know, you kind of get a little self-conscious because you're like, I mean, look, am I doing it right? Yeah, I'm doing okay. But like, why should I talk about money, you know? And just recently this year, I had a family matter that I really needed to dedicate time to, like for the past 3 months. And I started to really kind of see the fruits of my labor, if you want to call it that, where I wanted to take deliberate, intentional time off for this, which really did require like a day to day sort of attention. And I was starting to realize that I would be able to do that because of the setup that I kind of have built for myself financially over the years. And that was really the like motivator to actually start to say to myself, you know what? Let me start posting some things. There's definitely things that are not rocket science that maybe just people don't know. Cause I remember a time when I didn't know about it, and I remember I read a million finance books. I listened to a million finance podcasts. And I know that not everybody is going to be doing that. They're not going to be that interested in doing that. Like we're weird. So other people aren't weird. So I figured, especially living in a high cost of living place like New Jersey, that was actually another part of why I even applied to the bigger pockets of money podcast is you didn't hear a lot of people who could relate
Never.
to living in a high cost of living. It's like, oh, I live in Texas, or
Midwest,
I guess
Midwest all
now.
the time.
Yeah,
Yep.
Midwest. And I'm like, all right, this is unrelatable.
Yep.
It's just not relatable. Okay, you pay $2,000 a year
Yeah.
for your property taxes. Like, come talk to me when it's at least eight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a lot of the motivation. So in a similar way, I was just saying, I mean, we live here. Women also are usually, unfortunately, listen, that's just the reality of it. Women are not always the financial head of the household, right? And I think that maybe I'd be able to share some things that are relatable for specifically women, but just like Jersey people, and hopefully help them see things a different way, maybe give a couple of tips without being, I guess, financial advice, for how they could leverage certain things, how they could grow their money a little bit more efficiently, and then also just like make more money, because I think that
Yeah.
that's kind of what we have to do here. That's the reality. Like, I don't think I'm going to go rice and beans. I'm going to be like, nah, you got to work a
Yeah.
little bit more for
Have
a
some
little period of
yeah, have
time.
some steak every once in a while. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome because it's so true though, where you geeked out for a period of time to get you to this level, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the same exact thing where it's like you have the knowledge, yes, but you also have the position where you're able to take those 3 months off.
Yeah.
So I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, may not have that ability to do that because they didn't geek out, and
Totally.
you can teach people that. I don't think there should be any sort of imposter syndrome or whatever you wanna call it with
Right.
that. Like, you are the epitome of that. So
It's living like no one else now, so you can live like no one else later.
Oh,
That's
there you
that
go.
other
That's the
quote.
slogan,
yep.
right?
That's a
Yeah.
slogan. That's
Yeah.
right.
That's it. That's it. And that's something that I think, I've always lived by for my entire life, whether it was through sports or now, being in real estate. And it's a constant go. And when you have that in your mind, you don't want to stop.
Yeah.
And similar
Yeah.
to what you were saying before, Alex, where it's like, yeah, I don't need to work. The only reason I want to work is for the future. And it's
Mhm.
like, it's constant. It's a
Mhm.
constant thought like that. And it's
Mhm.
the constant house hacking mindset.
Mhm.
Um, so, we kind of fast tracked through a bunch of different things about your whole entire story in the past like 19 minutes. So I want to like go backwards and like break it down a little bit. Um, for I know the Jersey Girl finance is still relatively new, but
Yeah, very.
this is just like you're posting and kind of seeing what's happening, or is the goal to like be like this finance guru with mentees and build this community? What's like the goal with that?
It's a good question. I think right now, as it is, I do just want to share information and have it be for that. I don't know that I see myself. I mean, like I rejected a call from Dave Ramsey just like a few minutes ago, because I'm not interested in being a guru. But all to say, I think if it ends up being something that, takes off, okay. But it's not my intention. It really isn't to like
Mm.
coach and things like that. At least not right now. Yeah.
But I bet a community is going to
Oh,
happen.
yeah,
And
I
Yeah.
think
yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point. I think that would be nice. Like, I think my ideal avatar community would be primarily women in New Jersey, northern New Jersey. And, Yeah, just have a following of people who really get value from it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I think that that's really what I wanna
And
share.
it's gonna happen because it's also different. If a financial advisor were to do this, they would have a different connotation with that. You're
Sure.
just doing it because you're sharing your story and you are adding value.
Yeah, that's basically
Exactly.
it. I was
Yeah.
just like, yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
nothing to
I
sell besides, like, that community, I
No,
get. Yeah.
everything's free, you know?
Yeah.
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 It's like
If listen, Dylan, if Poly Market had this on it, I would bet that Jersey Girl Finance, I'm an investor. I
Yeah.
would be an investor.
Yeah.
thank you.
And I honestly, I would say it should, like, only be women because why not, right?
I mean, I
Yes.
That
want you
should be
guys
the
to
focus.
follow.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Well,
know, I want
Yeah.
we'll follow
support
along, but
from the
in
other
the community,
50%.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, me and Dylan talk about this for More Smarter Show. What we try to do is build a community. Right now, we get like 35 to 50 listens per episode, right,
Oh,
Dylan? Like
great.
between
Yeah.
all of our channels.
Cool.
And we don't care. We're enjoying this. We're adding value, I hope, to the 35 people listening. But I think one day, compound interest will work in our favor and
Sure.
hopefully have a community of people. And we're not trying to make any dollars off of it. It's just a community that you could sort of lead is like for us. And I think all three of us agree that's like the ultimate gold medal.
Absolutely. No,
That's
for
it.
sure, you know?
And we're see Jake, I don't know if you've seen in the email box, we've been getting some people emailing us saying like, "Hey, like, big fans of the show, just binge watch
Oh,
this one episode."
Yeah.
And it's like that I
that's
can't tell if they're
awesome.
spam or not. Let's pretend that they're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Let's
No, they're
let's
not
let's go with
bots.
that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, you guys. Yeah, so similarly, I think that that would be nice just to know also that it is relatable. Like, I guess to eliminate some of the imposter syndrome too, like, I do wanna know that people are actually getting value from it, and it's not just me, like, showing things, you know what I'm saying? Like, for the sake of
Yeah.
showing them. I really want someone to actually relate and actually take a couple of steps towards where they wanna be if they have financial goals, you know?
Yep.
Totally, totally.
So
Let's dive a little deeper into like some real estate stuff,
Okay.
and let's maybe get into some stats. It seems like just on
Oh,
your
man.
Instagram, it seems like you have a closing like once a week.
Oh my
I mean,
god, I
you
wish. Maybe
you're
I
so
don't
you're
wish,
crushing
but
as a realtor, but yeah, walk us through kind of like your real estate agent kind of business.
my real estate agent business. Okay. So I think a lot of back to the idea of compound interest, I think even doing this part time for a really long time had created an easier in when I decided to take it full time because I do get most of my business is referral still. And I'm sure you guys can relate to that. I think that's just kind of the nature of the business. I do postcards and things like that, but nothing too, I don't know, like it
Fancy.
yeah,
doesn't
you're not like cold
ROI
calling.
is not
Yeah.
Right,
really
right.
there for stuff like that. So it's mostly referral. I do a lot of LinkedIn messaging. That's like probably my second
That's
best lead
crazy to
That is
hear.
source.
crazy.
It's
Yeah, I
crazy
My
didn't
LinkedIn
that
messages are the worst. Like I get a million a day from AI bots.
spam.
I
Yeah.
know. But somehow I infiltrate. Maybe I'll give you guys a template or something because
Yeah.
knowing that, because I get a bunch of messages too, and like I kind of dismiss them, and I've known that. So I do have a VA who helps me with my lead outreach specifically for LinkedIn. She helps me with other things too. Like I have a weekly newsletter. Everybody who I get an email from LinkedIn or my clients are on the weekly newsletter. I'm very consistent with that. I send out about 200 LinkedIn messages a week. And from that, I couldn't give you all the conversions accurately. I couldn't. But I would say in the last year, well, I have a lot of conversations from that. I get into people's houses. I have phone calls with buyers and things like that. So a lot are still long-term nurture. But in the last year, I've had one, two, three, four, maybe like 5 of 12 come from like actual closings come from
Uh,
LinkedIn. And then even right now, I have, if I'm going off the top of my head, probably another like 5 buyers from LinkedIn that I'm actively working with. you
And
know?
these are random people or business owners or what?
Okay, so I guess I'll give you a little bit of like a
Yeah, give me a
thing
little
that I
bit.
do.
A little
I mean,
taste. Yeah.
listen, can I like I said, I can't guarantee the conversion rate for you. I
Um,
can't.
I don't know that
But
I'm interested in yeah, we'll talk
but
about that after.
Yeah.
okay, so for this, what I do is I filter by second connection and the locations that I want to work in. So, like if it's Rutherford, Lyndhurst, Nutley, the surrounding towns, second connection. So, we have somebody in common. So, then with the invitation, we send a note that says, "Hey, so and so, I see you're connect. We have a few mutual connections, work in the same area, want to connect, blah, blah, blah." So, then once they accept, if they accept, we have another algorithm of like, "Hey, thanks for connecting. A little bit about me, blah, 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 blah." But it's like, I say, funny things, I guess. I'll say, real estate pro, my best friend is my 91-year-old grandma, and I could balance 8 spoons on my face. All true. Okay. So, like those sort of things. And then and a question at the end, like, "Oh, but out of curiosity, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell?" So then we kind of just go through our little algorithm. If they say yes or no, and then most of the time they say no, then we just try to get them on the newsletter. So then we say, "Okay, by the way, send out this little newsletter. Just need a good email, blah, 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 blah." So then we get their email. And then it's just like a long-term
Yep,
nurture where it's on the newsletter. I put them in my drip. And then I have like an intro into the drip campaign, like, "Thanks for joining, whatever." And then a question in that email, and a response from that literally got me a listing in Nutley like this year, just from a response to the email
that's
and the drip
amazing.
campaign
It's the
from
name of the
LinkedIn,
game.
you know.
It's the name of the game. That's
That's just
awesome. I
it,
mean,
you know?
it's
So
starting relationships and then finding the way to nurture them
that's what
automatically.
it is. That really is the whole thing. So when you ask me about my business model, I mean, referral, LinkedIn
Yeah,
outreach, and I do some cold call, not a lot. I do Facebook ads. That's more recent. That's actually worked out pretty well. Some of the quality is like iffy, but I got a listing, like I've got 3 listings from that this year,
Mm.
and I've been doing it for like 6 months. So that was
wow,
pretty.
that's really good.
So
That's
yeah,
really good
it's not
conversion.
bad. It's not too bad.
So first of all, my grandma was my best friend too, so we have that in common as well. So
Thank you.
second, the so we talk a lot about I mostly do this part of talking because Dylan's a little different than me here, but there are people that it, I don't want to work with, right? It's that house hacking mentality. We're back here. Where we now, because we lived like no one else in our 20s, we can be more selective with our realtor business of who we choose to work with. And a lot of times, if you don't know the person, if they're not directly referred to you or you know them personally, and you're doing a cold outreach to first know them,
Mhm.
that is not always the easiest transaction in my
Sure,
experience.
sure.
How do you feel about that?
Both parts. So number
I don't
1.
know, all of
Okay, so number 1, being more
it.
selective with clients.
Yeah, combination.
I
Yeah,
feel
go ahead.
like I feel like I'm not too selective. I think if I really only have like 2 criterias for you to be my client, which is you're communicating with me and you are valuing what I have to say. Like, I feel like I am your advisor because you
I
probably have
think
the
same.
clients, yeah, like, where it's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, you want my help, but you're not even listening to me, so we gotta go," you know?
Yeah.
Totally. Those 2
So
I think are just as selective as I get as well, that's it.
okay. So like I'm not too picky with like the people that I work with. As far as cold outreach people, I feel like anybody that I've had cold outreach, I guess I was able to build enough rapport with them where I felt like we were very quickly close. Like not close like a friend, but
Yeah.
we had a very good rapport. Like I felt like they really trusted me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And whether or not that's because of a long-term nurture type of thing, so it wasn't as cold.
Mm.
But I'm not getting a lot of, say, at least buyer leads, like cold, I think. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a big difference because you're warming them up.
yeah,
They're
Yeah.
not they don't want to just click and you get you and see a house. They
yeah.
know you a little bit at least.
Yeah.
I will say, but for example, and maybe you guys have had this experience too, and this might sound stupid, but when people call me off a sign and they want to go see the listing and they're a buyer, those are the worst buyer leads.
Worst.
That's
That's what I'm
why
trying to
Horrible.
say. Yeah.
they're the
Horrible.
worst. I will not even follow up with them. I swear to you, I will not follow up
Mm,
with them. And that might sound ridiculous, but, like, at the same time, it tells me that you don't really value the buyer-agent relationship, and if I'm gonna go and try and find you a house, then you're not really gonna value it as much. Like, you're
yeah.
okay just going directly to the listing agent, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just that I'm not gonna really bother
Yeah.
following up with you as a buyer client.
I think that the biggest problem is because there's a lot of like iffy realtors out there and there's like a bad rap that people who are somewhat, I wouldn't even say to the highest level because the highest level of intelligence, they want to hire a professional.
Sure.
But the people that like think they're too smart for their bridges are the people that think that they don't need a realtor in a
I
situation,
get that.
which I sometimes I get, like in some cases where you're buying a house, you don't need a realtor, or you're selling a
Right,
house, you don't need a realtor. It's
right.
whatever. But the people that are going to the listing agent, I've dealt with so many people. Not so many. I mean, I've had 2 double-ended listings before,
Okay.
and those are the worst buyers to deal with. I'd
Yeah.
almost rather not even do it.
I
It's not even worth
know.
it.
So
I
what
know.
I do, if I get one of those calls, I tell them that they shouldn't be working with the listing agent, and I'm like, "Hey, you're like buyer's agents have so much value. Here is this person," and I try to get a referral. So
That's
what I'm
smart.
doing is I'm like educating them on someone else. It's really easy for me to say. It's really, they're not going to respect it if I say, "Hey, you should work with me as your buyer's agent because I'm amazing." I say
Mhm.
you should work with Dylan because he's amazing and he will add value, and it's easier to communicate like that.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
I just never thought of it, frankly. But yeah, I
Yeah.
I agree. I haven't done a lot of double-sided stuff. I know my broker, like, wants to double-side everything, and I'm like, "I don't want to. Please, no." So,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but
that's yeah. I think the whole believing or like actually listening to what you're saying is
yeah.
like
Oh, man.
I was on a team that in earlier in my career that I very much appreciate that I was on because they gave me so much experience and a lot of like leads and stuff like that, but they were leads from Zillow and
Mhm.
places like that where they did not give a crap what my name was. They wanted to
Yeah.
just see that house on a
Right.
Saturday, and I was the schmuck that had nothing to do to go show them and go open the door. So, like now here I am doing that, and I'm getting in the rep. But like thankfully that I'm getting the reps. Now I'm knowing like, all right, this is what it feels like to either get stood up. I've gotten stood up before at
Oh,
showings
yeah.
like that, or walking through a house, they're like don't even want to talk to me. It's like, all right, now I know my value. This feels like horrible. This is not worth whatever dollar amount that I'm going to make on a commission and
For
also being able
sure.
to show a sale. So like having that in your head too of like what's worth my time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, Alex, I want to touch on you mentioned you have a VA. You have one VA?
Yes.
Okay. How many frogs did you kiss before this VA?
Okay, I got lucky with this VA
Oh, wow.
because okay, so my husband has a podcast, shout out the Unstuck podcast with Jay Abbasi,
Yeah.
and he has multiple VAs. So he has a whole vetting process that he does, like multiple. So he'll go on like the Philippines jobs. Oh God,
Yeah,
whatever
PH
one
job.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
That one, and there'll be like 1,000 applications. Then he has them record a video and interview and like do all these different things before he actually gets to a small pool. So this particular VA, I kind of just like piggybacked because he was between this girl and another girl or guy, I don't remember, to hire ultimately, and he went with the other person. So then a couple weeks later, or maybe a month later, I told him that I was interested in outsourcing my direct messaging because I just couldn't be consistent with it, and I just needed it to be consistent. And so he was like, "Oh, why don't you reach out to Allie?" Is her name, and I said, "Okay." So I had a conversation with her, and she seemed like she could at least do that, you know? I mean, she's helped me with so many other things, like even designing things in Canva and my newsletter and like postcards and things like that. So I can't really take credit for the vetting
How
process.
how
Well,
how many hours does Allie work for you?
she works 10 hours a week. Yeah. So
Nice.
not like a
That's a good
ton.
arrangement. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it helps because it does appear that the messages take about 2 hours a day, maybe like a little bit less, which I understand, like, because 'cause I've done it myself, and, she's able to do it that basically the main thing part of her day, and, yeah, it helps me tremendously, so
Yeah. That's really cool. I think that's where I am striving to get to in the next maybe like 6 to 12 months is having a VA and, whether that, be for, that mainly for the real estate business. So, I
yeah.
mean, what I've always been told though is VAs don't want to work if it's not like, if it's less than 30 hours a week.
Yeah,
So,
Oh.
20 usually.
Oh.
or 20
Oh,
or whatever.
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
So
I could understand that. It's not a
yeah.
ton.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Um
I mean,
So
that's where it's like now it challenges you as a business owner because now you're a business owner
Right.
to figure out what that 10 hours of delegation can be done.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure, and I would love to outsource more. And I don't know that for her, it would be for her like, for example, writing contracts, oh my god. If I could have somebody write all my contracts, that would be great because there's days where, like, you're out in the car the whole day and you just so happen to have 4 contracts that you have to write, and people are getting back to you last minute, and you're like, "Oh, this'll take me an hour to write," and you
Yeah.
think it'll take me 5 minutes, and I have 4 others to do. And now I'm in the car for like 4 hours, so that I think, Dylan, also is on
Yeah,
my, where can I get somebody to just write my contracts? I tried
totally.
Claude. I tried to have Claude write my contracts, but it didn't work out. It like thought
Ah.
I was a bot and I didn't figure it out yet.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
the worst is, like, they, like, the listing agent comes back to you and is like, "Hey, actually, like, sorry, you need to make this one change,"
Oh
and then
god,
you gotta
stop.
get it
Yeah.
redone. It's like, oh, now all of
Yeah,
that
I was
whole
like, "Can
work.
we just change it in review, please?"
Yeah,
So Alex, my
exactly.
wife's my wife's company does that. So I haven't written a
I
contract
know.
in years. So if you give her the code more smarter, then maybe she'll throw you a discount. She's
Alright,
got three
cool,
three
send it
full-time
to me.
employees. I can't imagine being in the car writing a contract and
Oh
doing all
my
that.
god.
It's tough.
It's
Yeah.
it's just, like it's
Discount
crazy.
code more smarter. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, send it to me. Send it
All
Yeah,
to me.
lowercase. Yeah. So,
holidays, yeah.
so Alex, are you if you get an influx of leads and an influx of you have 20 deals going on at once, how does that look for your like? You trying to have a team or what?
Um, it's not really where I'm at right now, I guess. So right now it feels manageable. I probably have, let me think. I have 2 listings and probably like 6 or 7 buyer clients, which can get busy.
Yeah,
I personally am not interested in having a team at this time. I definitely help a lot of agents, I think, like at my brokerage or just people in general. Like I'm open to helping, like with a transaction or whatever the case may be, but to actually build something out like that myself with multiple team members, I don't think that that's something that I'm interested in doing, really.
Yeah. I Jake and I talk about this a lot, and that is the millionaire real estate agent pathway is building a
Sure.
team.
Sure.
So that's what is said in every single broker will tell you to build a team, of course,
I get
right?
it.
Because yeah, that makes sense for them. But for your life, maybe you could be
exactly.
doing better with being a solo agent with a VA or two and a showing assistant or something
Yeah.
along those lines. And
Yeah.
that's probably the most profitable way. I've seen this with like Ricky Caruth talks about that all the time. He's like solo agent like until you die. You can close you just stack listings and you have a showing agent to help you with some buyer clients that come from it. And then that way, you're more profitable. You don't have to delegate the important work of
Right.
converting a deal to
Right.
another person that is on your team. Like
Yeah.
that's the hard part.
I get that, and I think that's part of the feeling. The other feeling is even whether it's my team or someone else's team, sometimes I'm just like a lone wolf. Like, I just feel like I like to just be in my office by myself, like, working on things, so I don't know, that's probably a little antisocial of me, but it's
And
like
I
I
don't know if
don't
you've
really wanna
ever
have to talk to other people if I don't have
I don't know if anyone's ever worked with a new agent before, but that is tough. So that's an element of building a team you think of.
It's true. It's like it takes a really long time. Like you guys know. I mean, there's so many things that you have to figure out by yourself, like that are just not taught to you and don't really, I guess you don't even think of them. Like you don't even think of the skill set really. And I feel like it's only been, I think, the last few years that I've actually been like, oh, I have to really start to develop this type of communication skill set or like that type of
Yeah.
intention. It's like you don't even it's like a second thought. You think things will just kinda happen, you'll figure it out as you I mean, you do figure it out as you go, but there's definitely ways to teach people that, and I don't think I have it in me right now. Like, maybe later, but
Yeah. So what are the things that you would want to delegate in the future?
yeah, I mean, I know you do a good job of it, Jake, showings. I think that would be great. At the same time, it's like sometimes I'm like, well, it'd be good if I was like seeing the
Yeah,
house
only
or for,
sometimes.
for an
Exactly.
on.
Exactly.
But partially that, definitely the contracts, that's rough. Um, the transaction itself, I think I can manage. I don't think that that is that big of a deal. I mean, unless there's multiple deals going on at the same time, then probably like the ins and
I
outs of
love managing
transactions.
a transaction. I
I
love
don't
it.
mind it at all. I really don't. I like
Yeah.
it. We have I have like a little shared checklist that I have with my clients and I'm like, "Oh, we're here, we're here, we're here." And
Yeah.
I kind of like that. But yeah, in terms of delegation, yeah, just like the paperwork stuff, that's a big one. Yeah, if somebody else could drive me around, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like just have a personal driver wherever I have to go. But those
That
are
would
the
be pretty
main
good.
ones
Yeah.
for sure.
Or just get a Tesla, and that's
Yeah,
pretty much it.
yeah, I guess that could work.
I've seen a lot of hacks with that where, like, you, like, aren't supposed to take your eyes off the road, but if you have your AirPods in and your phone is there and, like, it's close to the steering wheel, you can, like, be texting and talking and doing whatever or
Sounds
texting and drive
dangerous.
like,
Well, that
self-driving. Yeah. We're never gonna get sponsored by Tesla now for saying that,
no,
but
no. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So, just real quick before I think we're gonna wrap up, but asking for a friend, what does your husband use VAs for his podcast?
Oh, well, he has a podcast, but then his main business is he's a speaker. So they do the email outreach, LinkedIn outreach,
Got it.
helps prep content for his, Instagram, the podcasts, helps the show notes, prep the
Mm.
show notes, like, things like that. I mean, I could probably have him talk to you about it more than
Yeah.
I know
I
ins and
got
outs,
Yeah,
but he has 3 VAs no, 4 VAs, and they all, help him just operate his whole business, really.
it's
So,
awesome. He
yeah.
sounds like a future potential guest.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that would be great, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll email you his info,
Yeah.
J
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, because he's an interesting guy. He is, I will say, because he also came from corporate. He worked for Tesla, actually, and yes, he has a Tesla.
Oh.
I don't say I have a Tesla, he has a Tesla. And, he transitioned into a coaching business. Now he has his speaking business and, has his podcast and stuff, so he's very much a entrepreneurial spirit
Amazing.
for
It's
sure.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I
That
think
is
he's
sweet.
nice.
So, I mean, it seems like it runs in your in your guys' relationship along with Jake and Meg, which is another connection, which is crazy. So,
I guess
Yeah.
that's
uh,
very true, yeah.
yeah,
Not so
yeah.
much on the financial end, I had to really teach him a few
Teach him,
things there,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
definitely the entrepreneurial end for sure.
that's great. That's great. Well, Alex, is there anything else that you kinda wanna touch before we
I don't know, just I know I shared a fair amount. I mean, if you guys think that there's anything else that your audience could kinda get value from, um
Yeah, where can they find you?
Oh, where
On
could they find
socials?
me? Let's see. So on my LinkedIn, I guess because I'm so active on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn, you could find me Alexandra Preziosi just on LinkedIn. Instagram, I have Alex Preziosi _real_estate, I think. I don't know why I did it like that. I don't know. and Alex Preziosi on Instagram, and then my Jersey Girl Finance, new
That's
venture.
straight up Jersey Girl Finance. That's a good
Jersey Girl
handle.
Finance. That's
Yeah.
the
Nice job on
handle.
that handle.
Yeah,
I
that's
should have got
me.
that first. Damn. That's
Yeah,
good.
thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. Alex, well, thank you so much for coming
Of
on the
course.
show.
Thank you
This is
guys.
episode
Appreciate it.
Last minute.
48. Yep. Thank you.
Unemployed
Everyone,
life.
yeah. You're about to go cut your own grass.
Yeah, or like translate the landscaper talking to my grandma. That's probably what I'm gonna end up
Yeah.
doing.
That's great. That's great. Well, everyone listening, thank you so much for listening to episode 48 of the More Smarter Show. Like and follow along.
Only if you like it.